Over the last 2 weeks, we've been building something together. First, we learned to receive the seed. Then we learned that before your life changes, your identity must change. And today we arrive at the final step, to allow. Because you can receive the idea, you can become the person, and still miss everything you've been asking for. So let me show you what I mean. To allow. Have you ever prayed for an opportunity and then talked yourself out of it when it arrived? Someone invites you to speak and you think, I'm not ready. A business opportunity appears and you think, what if it doesn't work? Someone offers you the help that you've been asking for and you say, I don't want to bother them. The relationship you've wanted finally comes along and you think you'll probably lose interest. Do you see what's happening? Sometimes we're so busy asking life to change that we don't recognize it when it does. The door opens. Imagine you've been standing outside a beautiful house for years. You've been knocking, you've been praying, visualizing, wondering when someone will answer. And one day the door quietly opens. But instead of walking in, you begin questioning yourself. What if I'm in the wrong place? What if they didn't mean me? What if I fail? And eventually you walk away. Not because the opportunity disappeared, but because you couldn't receive it. When I look back over my life, I can see opportunities that really frighten me. Opening my first business, writing my first book, speaking in front of so many people, my coaching clients. Every one of those moments asked me the same question. Will you trust the person that you've become? Not, do you know every step? Because I didn't. I almost never did. The next step only becomes visible after I took the first one. That's how life has always worked. We think we need the whole staircase. Have you ever noticed that we spend so much time waiting for certainty? We want to know exactly how everything will unfold before we begin. But imagine trying to drive across the country at night. Your headlights only illuminate a short distance ahead. You don't see the entire journey, only the next stretch of road. Yet somehow, that's enough. Life works the same way. Clarity doesn't always come before movement. Very often, clarity arrives because of movement. The river. Think about a river. The river never forces itself around the rock. It doesn't fight every bend. It simply continues flowing, always moving, always trusting, always finding a way. Allowing doesn't mean sitting still and hoping life happens. Allowing means becoming willing to move when life invites you. Here's what most people miss. People often ask me, how do I know if it's intuition? And here's what I've noticed. Fear shouts and intuition whispers. Fear tells you to stay where it's familiar. Intuition gently invites you towards expansion. Not because it promises certainty, because it promises growth. So here's today's exercise. Let's practice receiving. So today I'd like you to write down one opportunity that's been quietly waiting for you. Maybe it's making that phone call, publishing the video, applying for that position, or starting the business. Maybe it's even having a conversation. Now ask yourself, if I truly believe I was ready, already becoming this person, what is the smallest next step I would naturally take? Not the whole journey, just the next visible step. Then take it today, no matter how small, because courage rarely arrives before movement. It usually meets us along the way. So bringing the 3 steps together, let's remember the journey we've taken together. First, you receive the seed. You protect the idea. You believe in what cannot yet be seen. Second, become the person. Choose the identity before the evidence appears. And finally, allow. Trust yourself enough to receive the opportunities that begin appearing. Creation isn't forcing. It isn't chasing. It isn't convincing the universe to give you something. It's becoming so aligned with who you truly are that when life opens up the door, you recognize it and you walk through. So before you leave today, ask yourself these 3 questions. What became clear to me today? What can I practice today? Who do I choose to become because of this awareness? Because here's what I've learned. The life you've been searching for may not be somewhere ahead of you. It may already be trying to find you. The question is, will you recognize it when it arrives? If this series has helped you begin seeing yourself differently, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 steps challenged you the most? Share it in the comments. Your story may become the encouragement someone else needs today. And if you're ready to discover what's been quietly waiting for you all along, I'd love to invite you to a complimentary breakthrough call. Sometimes one conversation is all it takes to recognize the next step that's been waiting in the front door of your whole life. So until next time, receive the seed, become the person, and allow yourself to receive it. And remember who you are.